Okay,
For his own
it's up
benefit,
to
of
you.
course, Your Honor.
All right, good morning. We are on the record. If you could please state your appearances.
Good morning, Your Honor. Chris Alderman, bar number 13061, on behalf of the plaintiff, Christy Baugh, who is present.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alex Sabato, 10592 on behalf of Andrew Baptista, who's present, but he's in the ante room at my request.
Okay. So I know that you said you were going to try to resolve the issues that I think you labeled as small, right? When we were here last time? No luck?
Well, I think we have the school issues kind of resolved.
We do have some of the issues resolved, Your Honor.
Okay.
This is a situation where I think we're really going to need clarification from the court on the specific issues that I've raised in the motion. These are issues
Okay.
that the parties, you know, when I was talking to Mr. Gubato and his client, we weren't able to hammer out. So if the court's inclined, I would just like to address them one by one.
So is that the route you want to go instead of the OSC?
Potentially. If the court provides us certain... If
you like what I say, yes.
well,
if you don't,
if I think we could come up with
so
a workable
because it doesn't work
solution.
that way.
Well, they asked an alternative for enforcement of orders. So clarification, I think, would be appropriate. I don't think the OSC
right.
is appropriate this time for some procedural issues that exist that are outlined in the opposition, but we don't need to go that route. I think that we can
If I can
accomplish a
help,
lot
I
here.
will. So
Okay.
what are you going to ask me? What did you agree on? Let's start with
Okay,
that.
well, I don't want to commit my client because nothing's necessarily agreed on, but
Oh, well then, did I
Okay.
misunderstand?
I
you?
would just like to go down the line, Your Honor, if the court's inclined to, of the issues that we raised.
How many are there?
Handful. A lot
Okay,
of them
then
have been eliminated.
let's start.
Right. So Family Wizard, that's a requirement issued by the court, right? Part
Okay.
of the order. He was supposed to renew it. He hasn't. I've heard today that he simply cannot afford to do that. So, I mean, my inclination is maybe we go to Talking Parents since that's no charge.
If that's fine with you guys, that's fine with me.
But we do
Is that
want
fine?
communications to be exclusively on that platform because communications are a big problem here in this case.
Okay,
He's just
so
not-
can you stipulate to Talking Parents and that's your only communication?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Unless there's an absolute emergency,
Yeah,
right?
And
Correct.
the reason is that
Okay.
he is that strapped. He's working 2 jobs.
Okay,
and
so-
Can't pay me, can't pay for the appeals.
So you have a stipulation for Talking Parents?
Yes.
All right, what's next?
30-30 rule.
Okay.
My client's previously sent bills, medical bills, to the opposing party. She hasn't been compensated timely upon submitting that, so that's a problem. We need to make sure that that's taken care of. Now, I believe opposing party has an issue because he's primary medical. So his issue, I believe, and maybe I'm speaking for Mr. Gubato here, but his concern is that he's having to foot the bill for these things, right? My client will submit the bill, but she's not necessarily including him in that decision-making process. I can represent that my client tells him about these appointments, he just doesn't choose to show up. So,
Well, the issue there is that he's supposed to make those decisions.
Yeah, it did pop in my head as soon as you said that, so I'm not sure how
That
that's
is a problem. That's one of the biggest problems is that she does
How
have a
is
tendency to
she
make unilateral decisions.
taking the child if she doesn't have that decision-making power.
Your Honor,
I'm confused.
she has been taking the child almost exclusively to all the appointments because the opposing party works so much. In fact, over the last 2 months,
Okay.
remember, they have a joint custody schedule, but he's only had the child 8 days over the last 2 months due to his work schedule. So that leaves no other option but my client to
So is
schedule
he
these
aware of the
appointments.
visits and everything? I mean, if he's not taking the
He's aware
child
when he
and
gets the
she
bill.
is,
He's aware about it when he gets the bill. So that's the problem. So if it just is clarified and it's made very crystal clear
That what?
he needs to make those appointments.
is he
And
gonna
maybe
do it?
And
Does he have
he'll
time?
do it. And maybe what we could do is if she says, perhaps, maybe if she sends him a text through Talking Parents, says, look, I think that she needs this for whatever she needs for her medical care. And give him maybe 48, 72 hours to respond. If he doesn't respond, then allow her to make that decision to do that.
Okay, so here's the thing. Is he saying he shouldn't have to pay because she shouldn't have made the appointment?
Yeah, basically, she should. He's
Okay.
the one making the appointment. He's ordered. The order is that he makes the appointments. If she's making them and then sticking them with the bill, now she's trying to hold him in contempt for not paying it. It's all kind of backwards. I think that he shouldn't have to pay it.
If the appointments are necessary and reasonable, they should be splitting the cost. So really, that's what you need to look at right now.
Well, then that means that you're going to have to modify the order because that's not what the order says. The order doesn't say, that if the medical care is reasonable and necessary, then she can make the decision. Otherwise,
I didn't
the
say
plaintiff
she
gets to
can make the
decide.
I'm not even talking about the decision part. Because for me to delve into that, I'd have to have an evidentiary hearing. You know that.
Your Honor, I can tell you too that he has the final decision-making authority. That it doesn't say that he's unilaterally supposed to select medical appointments. It's just
It's a unique order. We don't have a lot of them. Maybe a handful of cases that have that type of order, with one person having medical authority. So, frankly, what I'm saying to you is, regardless of who made the appointment, if the child needed that coverage or that care, they should be splitting it.
All right,
If there's a problem in the future, then we need to have a way of how it's going to happen. So before mom makes an appointment, you want her to get an okay from dad, but he's got to answer her. So how do you want that to work?
if he answers her, then she's got to abide by his decision, I guess.
Okay, well, so say the child's sick, right? And you have to make the appointment today. He doesn't answer her.
Well, that's
And
where
the kid's with her.
I get that, Your Honor. I think that's where you need to clarify what's necessary and what's reasonable. I think that part of his problem is, as an example, she got 2 pairs of glasses rather than 1. That's not necessary. That's definitely not necessary. It may be reasonable, it's not necessary.
Maybe prudent.
It may be prudent, but
for a
it's
child.
not necessary, it's
Okay.
not reasonable.
So here's the thing. So shouldn't he at least split half of for one pair?
1 pair, sure.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That's-
That's
I mean, that's-
reasonable.
Right?
But not
That's what I'm
both.
saying. You have to. Okay. So there, you had the glasses settled. Were there other things?
there were other costs, Your
We're
Honor.
gonna have that problem pop up in the future if we don't have some guideline as to how they.
But
can
what
resolve
you
that in the
want is a
future.
guideline of any possible thing that could possibly
Let's
happen.
define necessary. Let's start with that. What is necessary?
I
So
don't
we
even
Get
know
the
how you do that.
dictionary out. I don't know.
We can agree that 2 pairs of glasses isn't necessary, but perhaps taking the kid to the doctors for the flu is. So that's an example.
Well, I would say it is, right?
I agree.
With a small child, any medical, most of it's necessary, or you're just being careful. It's better to be careful.
But careful isn't necessary.
Your Honor, she bought 2 pairs. This child has broke 6 pairs of glasses. I mean, it's a young child. This is
Well,
not.
then I guess we
uncommon.
have to just get one at a time.
I guess so.
I mean,
That's
it's.
I
This
can
is
only-
also indicative of how the parties get along.
They can't get along.
I know. Well, that's my way of saying that,
Well,
right?
They cannot
That's
get
my
along.
way of. I try to be nice about it. So, it's really that they're battling, and this is just one of the things they can battle over.
Mhm.
And I don't know how I can define exactly what that child's going to need in the future. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say what's medically necessary.
Maybe whatever order issues, we'll talk Chris, and try to make some guidelines that make sense.
Because really, so how much are we talking about in costs?
Past costs, Your Honor, are, and we represented that in our motion. I believe it's like $330. I'm ballparking it here. Plus,
That's what we're arguing over?
we're talking about the cost of these glasses added to that. This is a new cost.
I'm only
Lenses.
representing my client, Your Honor. That's all I'm doing. If you could give them 90 days to pay that.
Okay. 90 days. What's next?
So the phone call issues, Your Honor, have kind of taken care of themselves. As I said, my client has most of the time with the child because of his work schedule. One thing I think we need clarification as well is the holiday schedule. My client wanted a makeup week for the past summer because each party's supposed to get 2 weeks of vacation. He essentially got 3, and his argument is based on a technicality. He took the 2 weeks, but then the following week was also his week. So it's really a 3-week vacation. So I think we need to modify that provision where you can't exercise 3 straight weeks if you're only supposed to have 2.
Not a technicality if that's what the order is. He gets 2 weeks if the 3rd week has happened
This
to
has
fall
come
on
up
his time.
before,
It
yeah.
has, and the way that I've dealt with it in the past is that you reset the schedule if that comes up. So if you take your 2 weeks and then it would turn into 3 because of the way that the schedule is, what happens is then at that 3rd week just resets and the kid goes to her and then they do week on, week off from there. That would be, I think, a good resolution, so that they don't argue about that in the future. Or you could say alternatively, it is what it is, if he takes his 2 weeks and then the 3rd week falls on his time, he gets 3 weeks. Those are the alternatives.
So what is mom asking for specifically?
She wanted a makeup week, Your Honor, but I just spoke to my client. If it's going to be difficult to work this out, then she's going to schedule her vacation to account for something like this, and she'll have 3 straight weeks. But I don't want to hear the other side complain about that she's had 3 straight weeks and seek makeup
So
time
I'm gonna argue about
if he's doing that
Okay.
same thing.
because I
Okay,
can
so
complain about
that's
the difference.
resolved?
We can keep it as is. She'll just,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. I brought it up last time, Your Honor, which is the name change order. Mr. Gavato was supposed to run that by his client to get him to sign it. Didn't happen. As you know, there was an order issued to change the child's name. She's tried to do that in Missouri. They require a specific order from the court directed
Okay.
to Missouri. I do have a copy of that for the court to sign.
So you prepared it?
I did, and
Have you seen it?
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
I gave you it
David,
last
yeah,
time.
I haven't,
Yeah.
maybe I just didn't look at it, but I don't object to that. It is what it is. I know that I was
Do you
there
have
at
it with
trial.
you?
I know that the court ordered it.
Do you have one with you?
I do, Your Honor, yes.
Okay.
Tend to get lazy when I'm not gonna take it.
No, I understand.
Well, you still have obligations though,
I do.
so be careful of that.
That's why I'm looking at it now.
Okay,
I
thank
remember
you.
the court did order that, so I'm not.
I know,
opposed to
cause you vehemently argued against it very well. It was
Yes.
very creative.
Very creative of you. Too creative.
He's gonna sign it, right?
No,
Are you
there's
gonna
no
sign
place
it?
for me to sign.
There's no place for him to
I
sign?
prepared 2 different versions, Your Honor. One for Mr. Gavato to sign. I gave him that version.
In fact, I prefer for my signature.
On the record, you're agreeing with
I
it?
agree, yes,
Okay.
Yes, on the record, ma'am.
And you're just not signing it because there's no place
There's no
for you to
place for me to
sign?
Right.
Okay. Okay. Alright, so I'll sign it.
2 other issues, Your Honor, and I
and
promise
we'll
you that's
s-
it.
Will you file it? Yeah. And you double check the name and everything, right? That's correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what my client needs to get the birth certificate changed.
And what's the next issue?
The next issue is taxes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Now, I don't know if we have a stipulation on this, but opposing party filed his taxes claiming the child for 2018 when the order specifically says that year is supposed to go to my client. I'm asking the court that he needs to amend that tax return to not claim the minor child because he was not supposed to. He gets next year.
Well, the client's position is that, when this court issued its orders, it was
Okay.
made an error concerning the tax issue, because what happened was that she had taken the taxes the first 3 years, and the way that it should have been done is that he was paying the taxes this year, and then she would pay next year. That being said, the order is what it is. It's on appeal right now.
so,
I talked to him about it. It's part of the reason he's outside right now.
Okay.
He's not in here.
okay,
So, if the court would just say, follow my orders, I will tell him to follow your orders, and that's that.
okay, so I feel as if I say follow my orders when I actually sign it, and it's in writing and it's filed, so I will reiterate, follow my order.
That's
And leave it at
exactly what I
that.
said to my client, Your Honor, and Mr. Alderman and Chris can
Okay.
confirm that.
That's fine,
We will pay it.
that's fine.
We're gonna have to amend it.
Since he's here, Your
So-
Honor, I have a form that he's supposed to sign, an 8332 form, releasing this year to my client.
Why don't you give it to council?
I want him to sign that today.
Why don't we give it to
Okay.
council?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
He can't sign it right now? Okay.
I think we're trying to keep emotions down, is what
I get it, I
I'm
understand, but-
sensing.
Yes, definitely.
We're
While I
trying to
understand
keep
that, though, I
everyone's
want-
cool.
I want some assurances I'm gonna see it, Your Honor.
You're
I
gonna
gave the
see it.
name change order, I didn't see it. The opposition was filed late. I mean, I need to,
And you know what, I've done this for a long time. We need to keep everyone's cool if we can.
okay.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to do, Your Honor. I will get him to sign it, just give me the opportunity to make that happen.
Was that the last issue, or is there another one?
One more issue, Your Honor.
Okay.
My client, thinking child, I don't
Uh-huh.
have any children. She needs him to sign off on the passport. She has a cruise pre-planned. We spoke about this in the back there. I believe he wants the itinerary, detailed itinerary, which is fine. My client's willing to give that. She had some reservations about providing the actual cruise line that she's on, fearful that he was going to, show up on the cruise or something, but I've talked to her, and she's willing to provide the itinerary, but we need him
Okay.
to sign off on these passports.
That's all he wanted, Your Honor, is just what cruise line,
Okay.
where, when are you coming, when are you going, ports of call. He's
And
not
that's
asking for an hour by
normal,
hour,
yeah.
you know,
You have the form.
which is standard.
So he'll agree to sign
He
everything
did, yes, so long
with the
as-
information from mom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the information about the cruise?
That's the information about the passport. She sent him previously an itinerary. I will tell her to
Why don't you just
resend that.
tell us where you're going?
Yeah,
I
please.
did. I told him I'm going to Ensenada on a 3-day cruise. I gave
Okay.
him the ports, the times, the days.
And
What
what
cruise
cruise line is
It's
it?
Carnival.
Carnival,
Yeah.
okay.
I just didn't want to give the exact.
3 fun-filled days.
Exactly.
So you'll let him know all that
I'll give
information?
him that information, Your Honor.
And then he'll cooperate in signing that form? So you'll give them both forms tomorrow?
Yes,
Okay. The tax form and the passport.
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Anything else?
That's all the issues, Your Honor.
I'm going
Okay.
to have a blast the next day. It's gonna be a lot of fun, but it will happen, Your Honor. I'll get it done.
Okay. So does that mean we do not have to proceed on the order to show cause?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Looks like we're done.
I just want some confirmation from both sides.
We'll drop it, Your Honor.
The OSC?
Yeah.
So that takes care of all the issues for now, until I see you again?
You probably will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Will you